Okay, I'm going to do something completely different. I previously did a tutorial on this poppy here, and what I've done is I've printed it out for a 5x7 size, and I've got my paper secured to the board. I've secured the printout to the board, and I've scribbled some oil pastel, some black oil pastel here, and I'm going to use this as like graphite paper. And I'm going to place this underneath, right over the paper. Then I've got an embossing tool. You could use a pen, pencil, whatever you've got. And I'm just going to outline just like you would tracing. You could even use a pen. Then you would know where you've been. Okay, this is an experiment. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, that's kind of cool. So I'm going to let this sit for a minute. It is oil pastel. It's going to act like a resist, but I think I need to wait and let it just sit there. I honestly don't know why I wanted to wait. This will smear some if you mess with it, but I'm not going to rub my finger over it. So now I'm going to do the background, and I'm just going to wet the background with kind of clean water. Do one side at a time. And then just drop in some of my colors. I've got Payne's Gray, Sap Green, Transparent Yellow, you could splash some water on that. You could put some salt in there to create some texture. Now I'm going to do this side. I really like the look of that black. I love how the lines are not perfect. They're kind of hit and miss, a skip here and there. I like how that looks. I'll pick up some of this extra paint and water down here. Again, you could put some salt, you could splatter some water. I think I'm just going to leave it like this and let it dry. I didn't have the video going when I painted this, but I'm going to do each one the same way separately. But this is still wet, so I've got an embossing tool. You could use a stick or whatever, and I'm making some lines for the veins of the flowers. I'm just pressing in. Okay, let this dry. Okay, that's dry enough, so I'm going to go ahead and do this second petal. Didn't have that recorded, but I'm going to do this the same way I did that first petal. So I'm just going to wet the entire petal. And I'm going to drop in some of this Windsor red right here at the base. Let it spread. Then I've got some of this transparent yellow. I'm just going to put a little at the edge here because I want to have a little brighter around the edge. And I'm going to use gravity. Let's put this, hold this up. Let these two colors meet and mingle and create this warmth right here on the edge. Mix it all around. That gravity really help. I love to have gravity help me with my paintings. I'm dropping a little bit more red. Still playing with gravity, just moving the paint around, letting it blend on the paper. I love how that wax or that oil pastel creates that resist. Okay, now I'm going to angle it here so that I can pick up this bead of paint with the dry brush and then just wipe the brush off on a paper towel or a rag. Let's pick up this excess. That's really pretty. Now I've got this embossing tool, so I'm going to make some lines. Let that dry. No, I can go ahead and do this one because this is not touching that, so I don't have to let it dry yet. Again, wet the petal. I'm going to like how this turns out. Then some of this Windsor red here at the base of the petal. Some of this transparent yellow just right at the tip, the edge here. Let's let gravity, I keep bashing these dishes. Let's let gravity help us mix these. I want all the paint to come here towards the end where the yellow is. And then back the other way. It just really creates a really pretty edge when you do this. Just holding it up. I want all that red to come down here, leaving that little glow of yellow up there. If you have a puddle of paint, you can take your dry brush and lift it up. I think I'm good. Okay. Next is the embossing tool. I really like that yellow. So let's do some veins in the flower. Oh, I really like that. Okay, now we have to let this dry because I can't do this one with that one as wet as it is. Okay, this is all dry, so I can work on the last one. And a little touch of yellow here. I have a lot of water. Lift up some of the extra. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry. Oops, not letting it dry. I have to make my little vein marks here. Okay, now I'm going to let it dry. Okay, this is still a little bit wet, but I'm going to go ahead and work on the inside of the flower, the center. So I'm going to do a little bit of yellow. Because the inside of a poppy is really kind of interesting. Now I'm going to do some Payne's Gray, and it's going to touch the yellow and mess it up. But that's okay. I'm just experimenting here. Some of the yellow will still be seen. I'm going to take a dry brush and lift up some of that extra paint that's floating on top. See, some of the yellow stayed. Enough stayed that I think it's good for the center. Yeah, I think it's good. That's still a little too wet. Okay, let it dry. I can do the stem. I didn't think about that earlier. I can do the stem. Got that sap green, and I'm going to drop in some Payne's Gray. Okay, now I'm going to let it all dry. Okay, this is dry. So I've mixed up some alizarin crimson with a little bit of the sap green just to get a darker red here, because this area is a little bit darker, the underside of the leaf. And it's a little darker under here. I'm just going to drop some in, do a little soft edge here with a damp brush. Soft brush, damp brush, smooth that edge. Now I'm adding some of the Windsor red here. Just one more layer. Meet up to the darker red. These other ones, I'm just doing another layer of the Windsor red. Drop in some of this alizarin crimson right here, where it would be the darkest. And again, drop in some of the alizarin right where it would be the darkest, at the center. think I can come in here without causing problems. Everything's wet around it. I'm taking a risk. It's only paper. A little alizarin and satin mix just right here at the base. Oops, pick that up. Okay, now I'm going to let that dry. It looks really pretty. Okay, it's dry. So I'm going to just add some definition here to the center with this pen. It's a jelly roll pen. Not quite sure what color it is. It looks kind of beigeish. So I didn't want to use a bright yellow, but I did want to bring some of those things back that make the inside of the center of the flower. And then some of these little doodads here, the stamens. Okay, I think that's it. So the last thing I like to do is take off the tape. And this is just cheap masking tape. Tore a little bit there. Not too bad. I went too fast. You can use a blow dryer or heat gun to heat up the adhesive, and it will come off much easier. There we go. Finished. I like the black lines, the resist. I think it turned out really pretty. Thank you so much for being a subscriber, and I hope you've enjoyed these poppy tutorials. Thank you.